Welcome to Oxford News This Week. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Terry Stiles. In this week's news, a perceived lack of code enforcement frustrates village officials. Oakland County Substation is tops again, and Ryan Wassman is Teacher of the Year.
Stay tuned. Learn more about these stories and others. The Oxford News begins right now. It's unclear who Oxford Village Council is frustrated with, but both council presidents Sue Bassard and Eric Dolan complained about a lack of code enforcement in the village. Even though the Village of Oxford Council did not have a village manager for more than 1 year and was without a code enforcement officer for about a half a year, Councilman Eric Dolan complained about the 5-page February code enforcement log stating that the village is not willing to resolve issues and needs to be more aggressive. New village manager Joe Madure informed council that the ordinance set in 1977 may be the cause of some of the issues, and soft-handedness on the village park could be another problem.
Oxford Township residents may soon be able to have their sewer bills paid on a regular basis directly from their bank account. The Township Board voted last week 7-0 to authorize Treasurer Joe Ferrari to implement an automatic payment program for sewer bills through Flagstar Bank. Under the program, customers would be able to have their bill deducted from their checking or savings account on the 10th or the 20th day of each month.
With over 60% of their criminal cases cleared last year, the Oakland County Sheriff Substation in Oxford Township had the highest case clearance rate out of all 12 agency substations last year. Commander of the Oxford Substation Sheriff Lieutenant Scott Patterson said he is proud of his officers, and he should be.
Ryan Wassman, a Lakeville Elementary 5th grade teacher, was selected by Oakland Schools to receive the 2018 Oakland County Outstanding Elementary School Teacher of the Year Award. That's a mouthful. The award is handed out annually to honored teachers who have achieved the highest standards of excellence in their position. They are presented to one middle school, one elementary school, and one high school teacher each year. Wassman was selected from among 23 elementary schools nominated from across the county. His students surprised him with the award on March 20th. Lucky Oxford, and congratulations, Ryan.
The Legacy Center, now called Legacy 925, is one step closer to obtaining a liquor license. Owner Christian Mills wants to open a restaurant with a bar in the 200,000 square foot facility. Last week, township officials voted 4-3 to approve the Class C, which allows for the sale and consumption of beer and wine and spirits.
That's it for Oxford News This Week. If you'd like to learn more about these stories and others, pick up a copy of the Oxford Leader newspaper, or better yet, you can catch us right here on our website at occtv.org, or you can find us on our channel, YouTube channel, which is Oxford Community Television YouTube, and of course our regular charter channel 191 and AT&T channel 99.
And coming up soon is John Ochins with school news, OCTV's very own Cody Wright with sports, and you won't want to miss Auto Talk, Science in the News with Dave Kinney.
I'm Terry Stiles. Thanks for watching Oxford News This Week, where we bring your news closer to home.
And I'm Elgin Nichols. Remember, always be kind to your friends and neighbors, and thanks for watching.
Welcome to Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication New Scientist. In our first story, ovarian and endometrial cancers are the 5th and 6th leading causes of cancer deaths in women. They are difficult to treat because they are often spread to other parts of the body before symptoms arise. A smear test, also known as a Pap test, uses a brush to collect cells from the cervix. These are studied under the microscope to look for cancerous changes or tested for the presence of human papillomavirus, which can sometimes lead to cervical cancer. Lucy Gilbert at McGill University Healthcare Center in Montreal and her colleagues wondered if the Pap test could be adapted to other cancers of the female reproductive tract. Gilbert's team found that the Pap brush also picks up cancer cells that have shed from the ovaries and endometrium and pooled at the cervix. They identified these cells by looking for cancer-related mutations in 18 key genes. The genetic approach was able to detect 33% of ovarian cancers and 81% of endometrial cancers in Pap test specimens collected from 627 women already diagnosed with these diseases. To improve the accuracy of the test, the researchers used a towel brush that reaches beyond the cervix to collect cells closer to the ovaries and endometrium. They also looked for cancer DNA markers in the women's blood, and the detection rate for the endometrial cancer improved to 93% using the towel brush. It also rose to 63% for ovarian cancer using the combined blood test. In both approaches, over half the cases detected were early cancers. This is promising because the cure rate for early-stage ovarian and endometrial cancers is over 70% compared with 15% for later stages. Importantly, no positive test results came back from over 300 women without cancer who were also part of the study, which is vital for preventing unnecessary anxiety and interventions. The researchers are now planning a larger trial in women over the age of 50 who are at most risk for developing these cancers. If the test is approved, women could be screened for cervical, ovarian, and endometrial cancer in one go during their routine Pap test, says Gilbert, and we think that will be a game changer. In our next story, artificial intelligence is poised to take over earthquake monitoring. During an earthquake, different types of seismic waves travel through our planet. Determining their speed and direction is essential for making maps of the Earth's crust and predicting how devastating future strikes may be. Algorithms can do this, but they require the help of seismologists because they aren't yet good enough on their own. To try to improve the process, Greg Barossa at Stanford University in California and his team trained an artificial intelligence algorithm on more than 700,000 recordings of earthquakes in Northern California. The team then tested the algorithm on nearly 80,000 raw recordings and compared the results with the standard algorithms in use today. The AI did significantly better, particularly for the more important S waves that reveal the most about Earth's underlying geological structure. We would want it to do it comprehensively for all of California and ideally for any earthquake-threatened part of the world, says Barossa, and that's a good thing. In our last story, tobacco firms could be forced to slash the amount of nicotine in U.S. cigarettes under radical plans from the Food and Drug Administration. Proposals announced recently would see the amount of nicotine in most existing cigarettes cut by a third from about 1.5 milligrams of nicotine per cigarette down to between 0.3 and 0.5 milligrams. It's the nicotine in cigarettes that makes them addictive, and according to one analysis, this change would cause 5 million people to quit smoking in the first year and deter 33 million people from taking it up by 2100. The FDA is now seeking feedback on this plan, but critics are warning this could lead to a lucrative black market for higher nicotine cigarettes. It carries a serious risk of unintended consequences, says Deborah Arnott of UK campaign action group Action on Smoking and Health. The idea of forcing tobacco firms to lower the amount of nicotine in their cigarettes as a way of making them less addictive has been discussed for years. But studies have shown that when given tobacco with only a little less nicotine, smokers instinctively get more from each cigarette by inhaling more deeply or covering the air holes with their fingers. There's always a way. Well, that's it for this edition of Science in the News. I'm Dave Kenny. Stay tuned to Oxford Community Television.
On Friday, it's Fish Day at the American Legion in Oxford. It runs from noon to 8, and we will have over 300 of our best friends enjoying our fish and our carryout. Sure, we have checked it out, and we have found that we have the best cod and walleye in Michigan. Want dessert? It's all homemade by our auxiliary ladies for just $1. For your vets, we have hats, just $5. On the bar side, here's some of our friends. Hi, everybody! On the museum side, some more friends. Hi again! Where you can check out one of the best military museums in the state. All Friday at the American Legion from noon to 8 at 130 East Drainer Road in Oxford.
I'm John Ochins, and welcome to the Oxford Wildcats School Update. More successful competition results to report this week. DECA, one of our high school business groups, just returned from their state competition. Teacher Steve Rook brings us up to date.
We took 43 kids that qualified for states. We had 27 overall medalists, and 23 kids took first place in their competitions and qualified for the international. We had groups in hospitality and tourism, working with restaurants and places like that. I had groups working on financial literacy, and their responsibility was to teach younger kids about financial responsibility and savings for the future. Had other groups doing entrepreneurship promotion plan, sports and entertainment marketing, a group working with DTE, Energy Theater. We had groups in business services, and a group working with Oxford Bank and finance.
The International DECA competition comes up April 20th through 25th in Atlanta. Oxford High just hosted the Michigan Band and Orchestra Association competition for the southeastern part of Michigan. Here's band director Jim Gibbons.
We've hosted for the last several years. It's nice to have, first of all, play on our own stage.
Sure.
But the reason that's good is because I think we have, if not the nicest, one of the nicest facilities in our MSBOA district, which is like here north up into the Thumb and over to Flint and over to Lake Huron.
That's a big area.
Yeah, it's a huge.
How many kids came through here that weekend?
We had 25 bands and orchestras. 9 of the groups were from Oxford. So there were 5 bands and 4 orchestras. And then there were another 16 groups from surrounding communities.
Jim tells us how our band kids did.
The high school bands, all 3 of the bands got straight 1s. At the high school level, the wind ensemble and symphonic band, so that the sheets are broken down, they judge in 5 categories. We got the symphonic band and the wind ensemble had straight A's on their sheets. And the concert band had a mix of A's and B's, but it was predominantly A's. And so they got a 1 from each of the judges. And then in sight reading, we did very well and got 1s in the sight reading. So there's 3 different judges in concert. There's 1 judge in sight reading, and 4 of the judges gave all of the high school bands 1s. Our middle school bands, the 8th grade band got a mix of 1s and 2s, but a 1 overall, and that's the first time a middle school band has gotten a 1 in Oxford in a while. And then the 7th grade band got straight 2s, which for them, some of them are in their 2nd year of playing, and so a 2 for a 7th grade band is a very good score.
Jim says the wind ensemble is going on to state. The State Band Festival is in May. As for our orchestras, director Natalie Frakes.
The 7th and 8th grade orchestras under the direction of James Berezhny at the middle school all got straight 1s, which means they got superior scores. And then here at the high school, our concert and symphony orchestras also fared the same and got 1s. And I think they really owned their musicianship. They did a fantastic job in the sight reading session and had an awesome time making music in front of different people.
Their chamber orchestra is going on to states for the 3rd year in a row. Congratulations. Jim Gibbons has a couple more things he wanted to add.
I'm very proud of the students, not just from how they performed at the festival, but how they hosted all these other groups in Oxford, and what a great face they put forward for Oxford. And I have to say, I'm extremely proud of our band parents. They run a remarkable band and orchestra site. The judges, like they said, man, tell your band parents they get straight A's. This is the best site we've ever judged at, from the food to just the hospitality and making sure we take care of them and make sure that the judges are happy. But for me, it's more about putting a positive foot forward for Oxford and really representing our school and our community to outsiders.
Our second graders have been enjoying some mindfulness and movement classes lately. Mary Beth Halushka is the teacher.
I'm working with youth assistants, specifically with Oxford Addison Youth Assistants. And youth assistance is actually part of the family court in Oakland County. There's one youth assistance in every school district in Oakland County. And part of the things that youth assistance does is parenting and children education programs. And right now in Oxford, they're offering meditation and mindfulness and movement classes, which I'm putting on. I'm a certified yoga teacher, and so I just work with the kids. We're starting just with second graders, and I'm going into the schools for 20-minute sessions with second grade classrooms. And basically we're focusing on breathing and how just inhaling and exhaling through your nose will automatically calm down your body. So I talk a lot with the kids about that it's their superpower. Just merely breathing is a superpower. And then we put a little bit of movement with that, and I give them some tools that they could take home and do this anywhere.
I asked Mary Beth what inspired her to do this.
I had done yoga for years and years and years, and it just feels so good. It's not just stretching your body, but just relaxing your mind. And I think nowadays, especially the children, a lot of times are on phones or computers or laptops, or they're playing games on TV, and this unhooks them from technology and teaches them some tools just to take a break.
So we'll take a deep breath and tell you that's the Oxford School Update for this week. This is Oxford Community Television, keeping it local.
Hi, I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kinney.
Together, David and I host OCTV's weekly show, Minutes by Minutes.
The show presents our sometimes humorous interpretation of what your elected politicians are doing to enact regulations and ordinances that ultimately affect us all, keeping your news closer to home and reporting political shenanigans from Oxford and Addison Township, including the villages of Leonard and Oxford.
Catch Minutes by Minutes on Charter Channel 191 or AT&T Channel 99. Tune in Monday through Friday, 11:30 a.m. and 11:30 p.m. and Saturday, 11:30 a.m.
If you don't have Charter or AT&T, you can watch us on our local website, OCCTV.org, or OCTV Oxford, Michigan on YouTube. See you there.
Hello, Wildcat fans. Cody Wright here with the Sports Report. Well, folks, this week I gotta say I don't have anything new to tell you. We're in one of those periods between seasons. Winter sports are through, but spring sports are just around the corner. This winter season, though, was phenomenal. The bowling girls winning the title, the wrestlers winning the league, the swimmers breaking records. Like I said before, the list just goes on. I just have a few reminders, and I'll be on my way this week. If you haven't checked out our coverage of the Paws Special Olympics basketball game against Lake Orion, now's the time to do it. It's on our YouTube page, which you can access through our website. You know it, it's OCCTV.org. You'll most likely find a promo of spring sports there as well, along with all of our games of this last winter season, fall season, and even the years before that. Once again, that is OCCTV.org. If you're not one to reminisce on the past and your only concern is the spring season to come, you can find all the information you need about preseason, season schedules, rosters, and much more at oxfordathletics.org. You can find articles on some nail-biting matches from recent events, players of the week, scholarship recipients, all right there. That is oxfordathletics.org. All right, everybody. Well, next week we will have some more to talk about. Some of the spring sports will be starting up this next week and the weeks to come. Lacrosse, baseball, softball, soccer, track, tennis, golf. We got a lot to look forward to. So don't miss the bus and educate yourself on the schedules and make your way out to some of these events. However, if you do happen to miss them, we got it covered and you know where to find us. All right, folks, that's all for this week's report. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. But until then, I'm Cody Wright. Go Wildcats.
I've won Olympic gold medals.
Missy Franklin.
But this is a race I really want to win.
10 people in America drown every day.
It's the race to save lives.
1 in 5 kids are younger than me.
Growing up, my mom was afraid of the water, something she did not want me to feel.
So I enrolled Missy in swim lessons.
Swimming became my passion. It changed my life. And now you can do the same for someone that you love. Drowning is preventable. Did you know that swim lessons reduce the risk by 88%? Visit usaswimmingfoundation.org to find, get, or give a swim lesson.
There's nothing more precious than your child's well-being.
So act now before it's too late.
Make us splash!
I'm glad I did.
Thanks, Mom. The USA Swimming Foundation, saving lives and building champions.
Hi, I'm Rachel Baker. Welcome to OCTV's weekly calendar of events, where we feature general community information from Oxford, Leonard, and Lake Orion. If you or your organization would like us to get your message out to our viewing public, please contact us for more information at our studio. Our number is 248-628-9658. Or go to our website at www.occtv.org. Now, here are the local events for the week beginning on Monday, March 26th. On March 28th, Woodside Bible Church will be hosting Lake Orion's State of the Township address. Supervisor Chris Barnett's speech will be followed by a reception. Doors open at 8:30 a.m. and the presentation will begin promptly at 9. Next up, a support group for parents of transgender youth was created and holds meetings on the first of Tuesday of every month. This coming April, join St. Mary's in the Hills Episcopal Church for the meeting from 7 to 8:30 p.m. on April 3rd. Call them at 248-330-8493 for more information. On April 7th, the American Legion will be hosting a gun show from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Admission is $5. Those under 12 get in free. All firearms must be cased when entering and leaving the building and will be inspected. All proceeds go to the American Legion and AMVETS organizations. Call 248-693-2444 for more information. The Orion Center off Joslin Road hosts bingo for adults 50 years and older each Tuesday from 10 to 11:45 a.m. or 12:45 to 2:45 p.m. Cards and chips are provided. Call 248-391-0304, extension 3500 for more information. Some church events going on this week. Join Oxford United Methodist Church for a free meal on behalf of Love Inc. Love Inc. is a Christian charity program that focuses on helping the community through the church. The free dinner is on Wednesday, March 28th from 5:30 to 7 p.m. And finally, on Sunday, April 8th, Christ the Redeemer Church of Lake Orion will be hosting a non-denominational prayer service for family members with special needs. There will be music and interactive scripture stories. The event begins at 1 p.m. This is Oxford TV, and I'm your local host, Rachel Baker. Please join us again next week for your weekly calendar of events.
Welcome to this edition of Auto Talk. I'm Dave Kenny, and these stories are taken from the publication Automotive News. In our first story, just because U.S. President Donald Trump's proposed tariffs aren't directly targeting cars and parts arriving from China doesn't mean the threat is over. Automakers are continuing to lobby Trump administration officials to minimize the tariffs, lest the Chinese government retaliate against their own efforts to expand in the world's largest auto market. Trump has ordered sweeping tariffs on at least $50 billion in goods. For now, the administration says the levies will focus on 3 industries: aerospace, information and communication technology, and machinery, areas where the U.S. government perceives the Chinese have been unfair or where there is a large trade deficit. Automakers still have reason to worry. In his television address, Trump used cars as an example of China's unfairness by citing a 25% tariff on U.S. vehicles sold in China, compared with only a 2.5% tariff in Chinese cars coming in. Trump also said he is concerned about protecting U.S. technology. Car makers build electric vehicles in China and share the technology with Chinese partners. The U.S. has an $8.9 billion surplus on cars with the Chinese, but a $1.5 billion auto trade deficit overall when counting parts, according to data from the U.S. Census Bureau. The total trade deficit with China was at least $375 billion last year, with Trump pegging it at closer to $500 billion. And at Cadillac, for the first time in 26 years, Cadillac will have an exclusive engine, a 4.2-liter twin-turbo V8. The new engine makes good on a 2016 promise by brand president Johan Danishin, and the limited production engine, hand-assembled and signed by the builder, will be made in General Motors' Performance Build Center in the Chevrolet Corvette plant in Bowling Green, Kentucky. The 2019 Cadillac CT6, arriving in the first half of next year, will be the first vehicle equipped with the new engine, Cadillac officials said. 2 versions of the engine are planned. The CT6 V-Sport, a new model, gets the 550 horsepower engine, while a 500 horsepower version will be available in other CT6 models such as the Platinum. Perhaps the most technologically complex and advanced regular production engine ever from GM, the 4.2-liter is a 4-cam, 32-valve, direct-injected aluminum motor. The 2 turbochargers and catalytic converters are placed between the banks of the cylinders. The design, known as the Hot V, is used by Cadillac's chief German rivals. The arrangement saves space and enables the engine to be packaged in the CT6 without modification to the car's internal sheet metal. But the Hot V also creates significant challenges in managing underhood temperatures. Catalytic converters usually operate at between 400 and 600 degrees once a vehicle is warmed up. Jordan Lee, chief engineer for GM's V8 engine, said his team looked at how German engineers managed heat in their Hot V engines and used a variety of the same techniques while paying close attention to the management of air flowing over the engine and coolant and oil circuits inside the block and heads. In addition to reducing the engine size, the Hot V layout offers another advantage. Because the turbos are close to the intake ports on the heads, acceleration is instantaneous once the turbochargers spool up. Both engines are mated to a heavy-duty version of GM's new 10-speed automatic transmission, and both versions come with all-wheel drive standard. Wow. And at FCA, Fiat Chrysler Automobile said it will transform the small former assembly plant in Detroit, where the Dodge Viper was hand-built until last August, into the new home of its sprawling automobile collection, with hopes of one day opening it to the public. Meanwhile, as the company cleans up the plant, it's auctioning off hundreds of mass-produced and one-of-a-kind pieces of the Viper memorabilia, that is, to benefit the local United Way. The automaker said March 21st that the 400,000 square foot Conner assembly plant in northeast Detroit would be reborn as Conner Center, a meeting place, at least initially, for internal use only, and a display showcase for its collection of more than 400 historic and concept vehicles owned by the company. The move allows FCA US to consolidate its collection under one roof. If it later opens to the public, Conner Center would replace the former Walter P. Chrysler Museum adjacent to the company's U.S. headquarters in Auburn Hills, Michigan, which closed in late 2016 to be converted into the new U.S. headquarters for the Maserati and Alfa Romeo. The automaker has launched a special online auction to sell off more than 1,800 Viper items, including signed hoods, prints, and posters found as it was